Training frequency. As a white belt, how often do you need to train? Is it 3 times a week, 4 times a week, or 7, 8, 10? Oh, and by the way, belt update, second stripe. Cue the intro. In this video, in the Road to Blue Belt series, I'm going over training schedule. As a white belt like myself, how often should you be training? Well, in the words of my coach, you need to be doing at least 4 sessions per week in order to maintain your skill set or improve slightly. Now, I'm not sure if this applies directly to a beginner white belt, being your first, say, 3 or 4 months of training. In that case, you can probably get away with doing 2 to 3 sessions per week and still make progress because you're still trying to take on board so much information. I know for myself, in my first month of training, I was taking on board everything. I was soaking up information like a sponge. So for some people out there, again, depending on how much time you have available and your goal set, this may be sufficient. However, in the words of my coach, in order to see real progression, and I think he was applying this to all belts, it wasn't just to white belts like myself, then he recommends 5 to 7 classes per week or 5 to 7 sessions, each being preferably an hour and a half, but at least obviously an hour class. If you can maintain this, then you will see significant improvement throughout. But of course, there is a caveat of out-of-class study needing to be applied, particularly at the higher belts, but we need to get there first. So the verdict from my coach is 5 to 7. What if you want to compete though? As I mentioned in the outset, it all depends on your goals. And this is what my coach told me. He said, if you are wanting to compete, then you should probably look at increasing your sessions to 9 to 10 sessions per week. Again, being that hour to an hour and a half. So let's have a look at a calendar format so you can visualize my training schedule. On Monday morning, I have a gym session. In the evenings, I have a double session of gi only. Tuesdays, I do a no-gi class followed by a gi class. Wednesday morning, I do a gym session. Again, my second compound lift of the week. And at the moment, I'm not training jiu-jitsu of the evening on a Wednesday, but there's talk of adding a no-gi class at my school. I'm definitely jumping on board when it comes. Thursday, I have a gi class followed by a no-gi class in the evening. Friday morning, sometimes I add my third strength session for the week here. And in Friday afternoon, I have a gi class. On Saturday, I also have a gi class. And if I haven't done my strength session on the Friday, I will add it here on Saturday just to finish off for the week. Sunday is generally a rest day. And that is what a week looks like. It may seem like a lot on paper, but if you make it a ritual and a routine and habitualize your training and ensure to schedule it on a calendar, then it absolutely will get done. I really don't recommend for any other starting white belts out there like myself to jump into this schedule straight away. That is what I did. My first training schedule was actually more jam-packed than this. I had 5 strength sessions per week. I was trying to maintain my same gym routine and then just add as much jiu-jitsu on top as possible. Take it from me, it's going to be an absolute struggle for your body to cope with that. Not so much muscle fatigue, but that is 100% playing a factor, but it is also joint fatigue as well. It is insane. If you've never trained jiu-jitsu and you're watching this series for the first time, looking into it, just note that jiu-jitsu rolls can be some of the hardest workouts that you will do. And for those jiu-jitsu players out there, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So when you're looking to increase your training schedule, maybe add in 1 or 2 classes each week until you get to whatever goal you're looking at, whether it be 5, 6, all the way up to 10 sessions per week. One thing you'll notice that isn't in my training schedule is mobility. Mobility is absolutely essential for jiu-jitsu players. Everyone out there that has already started jiu-jitsu, all my white belt friends, you will understand firsthand experience the importance of mobility, not only for recovery, for the actual jiu-jitsu itself, but also for injury prevention long-term. So there is a mobility dedicated video in the works coming to you soon. Stay tuned for that. I'm going to give it all the credit it deserves. and dedicate an entire video just for mobility. So my fellow white belts, let me know in the comments how many times you train, how many sessions you're doing per week, what the format of the sessions are, whether they're purely classes, whether it's rolling as well, open mats. I'm really curious to see how other white belts are getting on and if it's stalling or progressing your training toward a blue belt. I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to subscribe and like the video. It definitely helps the algorithm to put my content out there in front of more people and support the channel. Thanks for watching.